I do think you guys have the tallest mascot in the league by far. But no, I thought a great event, and every team in the TCL should do something similar. It is a really good event.
All right, welcome back for another edition of the Bison Bulletin. This week on the newsletter, we've done the Coach's Corner, the Players' Corner, as we've called it, but now this one I guess we can call the Commissioner's Corner, where we have the commissioner of the Texas Collegiate League, the TCL, the new league that the Abilene Flying Bison will be in. It's none other than John Wilson. John, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, James?
I'm great. We got to wrap up an eventful Bison Bash this weekend, and you got to take part in that, I guess, off the bat. Your overall first reactions on seeing the good amount of fans there, probably over 600 or so. We don't have full estimate on that, but still a good crowd on hand at the DoubleTree this Saturday. What'd you think?
Amazing event. The sponsors were amazing. The ticket holders, the season ticket holders, the individual ticket holders that I talked to, the families that came out, everybody that was there was nice as could be. They all had the ones that I spoke to had amazing time. I do think you guys have the tallest mascot in the league by far. But no, I thought a great event, and every team in the TCL should do something similar. It is a really good event.
Yeah, we try to show out as much as possible, and the Flying Faithful, our Flying Bison fan base, did every bit of that this weekend. We're so thankful that they were there and that you were able to see them for the first time. So that was really great to see. Looking at, you got to talk to the fan base a little bit and kind of talk about your background. But for those who weren't there, kind of get us into your background in sports, because you have a big background in sports as a whole. But I guess kind of narrowing it down, how did you get this role as the commissioner of the TCL?
I was in doing some consulting for the Lafayette team in Lafayette, Louisiana, for the Cane Cutters, and had talked to their owners, and then met a few other owners while I was doing work with them. And then a few of the owners got together and said, "Hey, we met this gentleman that has over 20 years of sports and experience in business side of sports, in minor league baseball, major league sports, in the NFL and the NBA." And that's how it came together. They were like, "Hey, we're looking for someone to do this." I own my own sports consulting company, Ball Game Consulting, and it was just a good fit for me and for the league, to help the league kind of grow and help bring in sponsors.
You talk about that growth of the league and kind of where it's been so far. Just such a rich history already of what we've seen with the Texas Collegiate League. What have you seen personally of some of the big successes with teams and players joining the TCL?
I think the league is, when I talk to other people on the outside about our league, it's been around. This is year 23, I believe we're going into. It's a reputable league that, from the outside, people say that we do the things the right way. We treat players the right way. We treat fans the right way. We're affordable family entertainment. And I see it. It's going to grow. My goal next year is to get to 10 teams or 12 teams. We're going to grow as a league, but we're going to grow smartly. We are not going to add franchises that don't make sense to our geographic footprint. Like, we don't want to go to Kansas. We don't want to go to Alabama. Those aren't our footprint. We want to stay in Texas, Louisiana, make sense, and add teams that geographically benefit the teams that we currently have.
And you talk about the goal of trying to get to those 10 to 12 teams without giving away too much. Do you kind of have a general idea of where you want to focus on, and what region of part of Texas, if Louisiana?
Yeah, I mean, I think a perfect fit would be to get hit some Louisiana markets that are in between the current ones we have and in between the Texas teams, say like a Shreveport or Monroe, somewhere like that. And then I also think in the Texas is such a bigger opportunity just because it's so much bigger, but to kind of bridge the gap of where you guys are and Sherman is down to Victoria, Brazos Valley, San Antonio, kind of get some markets in between there just to grow the league, but also help the travel costs and help spread the TCL word of mouth and the market wise. I think those are some good fits. There's plenty of opportunity out there. We just want to get the right ownership groups and the right markets that make sense for our league to grow.
Now you talk about kind of just trying to find the in between. Obviously, in the past, we've seen teams, especially in the DFW region. Is that kind of on the radar, trying to get someone there in kind of North Texas?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there's a ton of opportunity, especially in Texas. Louisiana is a little bit, there's less fields, less stadiums opportunity in Louisiana, but I think there's some really good potential in northern Texas to fill up those gaps and to cut back on travel costs for the league teams that are already currently members of the league as well.
Yeah, that's all. Whatever makes sense for the league, I think, is what's going to be in the best interest. So it'll be interesting to see where we see this league end up going. Now, you look at all the summer collegiate baseball leagues around the country, and some of them vary within schedules. For instance, last year with the MAL, with Abilene, they were able to see a 60-plus game season, which could be a bit long. We run a 48-game season with playoffs, and kind of the question begs is, why the 48-game season, not longer, in kind of your perspective?
Well, I think our schedule is perfect, honestly. I've talked to other leagues that have a longer schedule, and it is hard to keep the same players, very many players, the whole season because their schedules are so long. Ours is perfect because our season starts when school gets out. Most of the elementaries, middle school, high schools are all out of school, and we start, and then we're done the first week of August. So it gives college players time to go home for a couple of weeks before they start classes. I think our schedule is almost, I wouldn't change a thing to our schedule. I think it's perfect timing. We get kids after they've had 2 or 3 weeks off from college. Now they get to relax a little bit. They come play summer baseball. The season's over. They got 2 or 3 weeks before they start their college classes. And I think for families, most of the time that we are playing games, most schools are out of school during that time frame, and it's easier for families to come to our games.
Yeah, that kind of plays the point of where you said the family fun entertainment. And also, I'm on the same page for one. I'll say the 48-game season, I think, is perfect. I used to call baseball in the Mink League, and it was about a 45-game season. So I think, to your point, it works out the best where these players coming in after finishing off a long spring season, they're not overused during the summer. They're getting that exposure. They're getting that opportunity to go out and really showcase their talent, but without overworking them during the summer.
No, I agree. I think the schedule fits, and it fits families and season ticket holders and individuals that come to games, but also works well for the players as well. So they get to still get some time at home once the season's over and before it starts.
I couldn't agree more. John, we look at, obviously, the Bison new to this organization and to this new league. Now, for fans that don't know what to expect when they go to Baton Rouge, when they go to Lake Charles, when they go down to Victoria, can you kind of give them a perspective of what it's like whenever the fan base maybe wants to travel, or what the players will expect to see in those towns?
Yeah, I just think you're going to see some passionate fans. I mean, each stadium is a little different in our league. You have Baton Rouge, it's a historic, or it's an older stadium, and great fan base. And then you're in Lake Charles, and they play at McNeese State at a turf field. It's amazing, really nice stadium. And then you go down to like a Victoria, and you play in a fan base that's been there for 20 years, and they're just hungry as can be, and they're really excited, and they really back their teams. I think that's the unique thing about the TCL is each stadium's a little bit different, and you get a different kind of feel at each stadium, different foods, different entertainment. So I think that's the most exciting thing for a Flying Bison fan when they go on the road, is to see the different unique stadiums and the different atmospheres.
I think that's going to be the best part about it, not only for the fans, for us traveling as well, getting to see just what it looks like. When you have everything going on in this 23 years for the TCL, during your tenure, what would have been some of your favorite moments to be able to witness within this league?
I think last year when I did a tour, I drove like 2,800 miles. I came from the Chicago area all the way down. I visited every stadium. My first 3 games were walk-off wins. I think 2 of them were home runs and 1 was like a single, but it was really cool, just the atmosphere, talking to fans. I think that was one of the, for me, my favorite moments is just talking to the players and the fans and seeing how excited. Everywhere I went, I was like, why are you at the game? And they're like, well, it's affordable. It's family entertainment. We've been coming for years. I think that for me was my favorite moment, just being able to see it live and to be able to see 3 walk-offs in my first 3 games was really cool. And I think we had one game that was a 5-hour, 12-minute game. It was one of the longest extra inning games. But no, I mean, I think that was what I enjoyed is getting the input from the fans of how much they enjoyed coming out to our games.
Yeah, and you talk about the fan input. How much of that do you end up getting back where fans are reaching out to you and saying like, oh my gosh, this is just a great opportunity? Or how much of that input does it go into changes that, the league wants to make and make better for the fan involvement?
I think every time someone reaches out, either by email or through one of our social media channels about something, experience at the game or the streaming services, we use that input to get better. And I think that we should do that every year, try to get better, make it the more customer service friendly we can be as teams and leagues, and to make the experience better for the fans, the better off we're going to be, and making the experience for the players better as well.
Yeah, it always ties itself together the way you can get the fans involved, you can get the players just enjoying their time wherever they are at their respective teams. Last question I'll ask you, John. I'll leave you with this. We look at the 2026 season, a lot of teams to cover, but for you, do you have a first stop that you're planning on making to check out a game this year?
I'm probably going to have to come to either Abilene or Sherman and see a game. I want to see the difference of the talent, because you guys had a little bit different roster rules in the past of the older players and stuff, where all of our players they either have to be going into college or they are enrolled in college. So I think it'll be interesting to see how like Sherman, Abilene compete with teams that have been doing it and coaches and managers that have been putting rosters together for years, to see how they face like against a Baton Rouge, a Lake Charles, a Acadiana, the Brazos Valleys, the Victoria, and San Antonio, what the difference of the talent level is, because the rosters are put together different ways. And I think that's going to be the thing to see this year. And I love the fact that we're playing one division. So the top 2 teams in the first half and the top 2 teams in the second half make the playoffs. And I think that's going to be unique to see, because I think you guys are going to see a little bit different talent level this year. But also I think it's all the teams are going to be more competitive based, because of the fact that, we're not going to have 27-year-olds or 28-year-olds playing. We're going to have, college players playing in this league. And I think that's going to be the most unique thing to watch for, is how the 2 new teams compete with some of the teams that have been around forever in the TCL.
That's one of the things that I've gotten to describe it as. It's a competitive style of play. The way that these teams go out there and battle, it's almost like continuation of spring, to where we're seeing these players go in, battle game in and game out, and still just that family fun entertainment that people can expect.
No, I'm really excited to see that. Like I said, it's going to be really unique experience to see the 2 teams coming into the league and how they compete. And I'm excited just to see their stadiums with their fans. I've already seen how your guys' fans show up. I mean, for you guys to have that many people at an event in February is unbelievable. So that's what I'm really excited to see, is these new fan bases and how they're going to come out and watch you guys, both of you, the new teams in the TCL.
Well, we can always count on the Flying Faithful to make it out to any event that we're able to put together, and especially the Bison Bash. It's a huge success. John, we appreciate you being there on Saturday. We also appreciate your time here today, and we look forward to continue getting ready for the season.
Well, no, I'm excited, and I'm excited to see you at a couple ball games this summer as well.